Coming up next on Middle Tennessee News, just how many hemp shops are popping up around campus? Which fraternity is biking all day for the cure? And find out which baseball player won the day versus Murray State. All those stories plus your latest weather. Middle Tennessee News starts right now. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm J.R. Smith. Welcome to Middle Tennessee News. Some counties in Tennessee are so out of the way that they don't see much traffic coming through. But as Mariette Hennon tells us, Governor Bill Lee hopes to change that.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee announced $14 million in grants for broadband accessibility to help expand rural counties. Coffee County is getting about $1.5 million for the Ben Lamont Communications. Local business owner Melanie Buckner hopes it helps boost her business.
Pretty sure if you could, the communication, you might get me the word of mouth out. For people to come up here to our shop and shop with us locally. We need more local people.
Richard Banaski, the owner of Tennessee's First Vape Shop, brings up the current lack of connection with the town's most popular event, Bonnaroo.
With that many people, like we've got 10,000 people that live in this town, and then 80,000 that come in for Bonnaroo, most of the townies will stay home. So with them staying home and then the Bonnaroo people not coming in, it's a slow week.
But all hope isn't lost when it comes to Buckner.
Anytime you invest in your county, you can't go wrong. People like the governor puts money back into it, it's going to pay out for everybody here.
In Manchester, Mariette Hennon, Middle Tennessee News.
Thanks, Mariette. The broadband will definitely help out when Bonnaroo comes to town. Tennessee lawmakers on a House Corrections subcommittee tried to advance a bill this week that would ban the shackling of pregnant inmates. During childbirth and the recovery process, some women are often restrained with handcuffs and ankle chains. While only 5 to 6 women a year give birth while incarcerated, the bill focuses on the entire health care for a pregnant inmate. Belmont University announced that they have thrown the name in the hat as a location for the 2020 presidential debate. Belmont is one of 6 sites competing for the presidential debate. Belmont is the only site to apply for this honor in the South. They held the town hall presidential debate in the 2008 race between Senator Barack Obama and Senator John McCain. Belmont University also served as an alternative debate location for the 2016 presidential debates. With Nashville being a major hub for tourists and having over 41,000 hotel rooms, the possibility is very high. Marijuana, CBD, hemp, are these legal? What even are they? Reporter Calvin Smith explains why one of these drugs may grow on you.
You've probably seen headline after headline about hemp and many new medicines that come from it. The Tennessee Center for Botanical Research is right here at MTSU and blazing a trail in the herbal medicine field.
So the purpose of the center is to develop either nutritional supplements or drugs, pharmaceuticals, from plants that are medicinally relevant. That is, that we know they have medical properties.
Now hemp is just starting to blow up. This year in Tennessee, requests to sell hemp increased 10 times over last year. Let's just take a quick look around Murfreesboro. A quick Google search shows 5 stores just in the Murfreesboro area, and most of these popped up in the last year. Around a college campus like MTSU, there's an accessible market of young people these companies are looking to tap into. From campus, you don't even have to drive 10 minutes to find this stuff.
It's starting to prop up around here in public places. You'll see a lot of stores, and it's becoming a thing, and that's partly because of capitalism. It's the next cash crop. People see the money involved and they're into it.
And there's still a lot to be discovered from what hemp can provide based on the center's research.
Long story short, we did the experiment and we have found a number of compounds from hemp. These are compounds that you can purify that are very potent anti-inflammatory or immunosuppressant agents.
There is a difference between marijuana and hemp, and the two are distinctly defined by Tennessee's recently passed laws. According to Shelbyville City Twitter, they will be hosting Spring Cleanup Week April 15th through April 18th. For residents who need things picked up, residents will be able to throw things away such as furniture, tires, water heaters, and other household waste to be thrown away. There must be no hazardous items to be thrown away, and residents must place all items on the curb on the day of their trash pickup. These items will only get picked up during this week. Shelbyville will host another cleanup week during the summer from July 15th through July 18th. Spring is here, which means the days are starting to get hotter, trees are starting to bloom, and noses are starting to run. Yep, it's allergy season, and many of us are feeling it, including myself. With the weather getting nicer and trees and flowers blooming, more of us are getting back outdoors and getting more allergies, symptoms like runny noses and itchy eyes. The Weather Channel reports pollen levels aren't going down anytime soon, but if you haven't had a runny nose just yet, there are some things that you can do to stay in the clear.
Staying inside, but that's not a great idea. Just getting plenty of rest, fluids, that type of thing. Being healthy, eating right.
Allergy season can sometimes start as early as January, and it can last as late as November. Speaking of allergies, like I said, I've had allergies really bad. Jonathan Sasser, what about you? I mean, it's nice outside, but I mean, the pollen, it's everywhere.
Well, you're not the only one that's been having bad allergies. As you can probably tell by my voice, I'm afflicted by them as well. Though, with these coming days, they may lessen up a little because there will be a lot of rain coming in starting tonight at around 6 p.m. As you can see, the storm front will start coming in and rain will be pelting us. And then later on in the week, it'll bring along its famous cousins, thunder and lightning. However, right now, we're in the clear with a high of 73 degrees, and tonight we will have a low of 53 degrees. As you can see, just overcast skies, but smooth sailing for all the traffic on the highway. But I'll have your 5-day forecast coming up later, so just stay tuned. Back to you.
Jonathan, I definitely have to disagree with you on the thunder and lightning. This is thunder. This is lightning, and I think that's all we need to say about that. All right, still ahead on Middle Tennessee News. See how Tennessee may be keeping people from moving here. How one familiar face is seen in an unexpected place, and that's coming up next.
Sculpting the perfect body takes time. Quitting smoking does too. But with a little help, you can do it. Get the resources and support you need to quit smoking from the American Cancer Society at cancer.org/smokeout.
Hannah is bright, talented, and she's been so brave. Hannah complained of a headache. It was a rhabdomyosarcoma. Within a few days, Hannah was in treatment because we were told that the tumor was very aggressive. So we've essentially put our lives in South Africa on hold. Incredibly blessed to be here. St. Jude is an asset to the world. The research that is developed here is offered freely to the rest of the medical world. The entire way that the place operates is just to give and to care. I think it's the kind of place that not only stands as a beacon for pediatric cancer, but I think it could teach the world a couple of lessons about how to treat people. And I think if those lessons could be learned, even in their most basic form, this world could be a better place.
Repeat after me. Apple, table, penny.
Apple, bread.
I remember watching Dad with the kids and thinking, geez, in 6 years, will he even know who they are?
Ask me again.
1 in 10 Americans over 65 has Alzheimer's disease. Learn more today at brightfocus.org.
What does it look like when a life is truly changed?
I feel a sense of accomplishment because I built a house. This house has brought us financial independence.
Every family dreams to have their own house. This house changed our lives.
Habitat for Humanity is at work in your community and around the world. Through shelter, we empower.
Welcome back to MT News. It's estimated that about 100 people come to Middle Tennessee every day. They come for well-paying jobs and the exciting culture. But one aspect of our housing legislation may actually be keeping people from moving here. Studio M reporter Joseph Choi tells us about a push for new laws to change that.
Homestead exemptions. They protect a certain amount of value of a home from property taxes and creditors in the case of bankruptcy or death. They're designed to protect against the forced sale of property and can be very attractive to prospective homeowners. Nearly all states have them, but Tennessee's current exemption may not be all that enticing.
They can take everything that you have, including your home, and you only have $7,500. For someone who has severe issues and everything they own is in their home, and what they don't have pledged at that point, they'll need to start over again.
Tennessee's homestead exemption was first established in 1852 at $500. It was last raised in 1980 to a maximum of $7,500. Tennessee residents are limited to state exemptions, and there have been concerns that they have not kept up with inflation rates.
We're trying to raise that to $1 million limitation, because if somebody's got a family farm, $7,500 won't even come to light bill.
$1 million is a lot to exempt from paying taxes on, but states such as Florida and Texas have an unlimited homestead exemption. With property values continuing to rise and new residents coming in every day, the current legislation may need updating in the near future. For Studio M, I'm Joseph Choi.
Now, Tennessee's current homestead law ranks among the lowest affordable for residents limited to only state exemptions. There have been numerous attempts in the past to change this, but progress has been slow to start. With large corporations like Amazon attracting new workers, legislators are hoping to update and improve the housing infrastructure to accommodate Tennessee's growing population. NASCAR's Food City 500 and All-SCO 300 will take place this weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway. But in this weekend's Xfinity race, you may see a familiar face zipping around the track. The number 2 car, driven by Tyler Reddick, will be representing none other than Tennessee's very own Dolly Parton. The car is being sponsored by Parton's record label, Dolly Records, along with many other of Parton's tourist attractions and businesses, like Dollywood, of course. The car will be bright pink and feature Dolly's likeness on the hood. Still ahead on Middle Tennessee News, we have a lot of stuff. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but you know what? We'll find out right after the break.
Turn off your lights for Earth Hour. For our forests, our rivers, our oceans, our wildlife, and for our climate. For our Earth. Earth Hour, March 30th, 2019.
Your zip code. Just one number different and you might have a whole other life. Different school. Different job. Different dreams. Different problems. In America, the zip code you're born in can determine your future. The Y works to change that, with programs and services that help everyone thrive, no matter who you are or where you're from. For a better us, support your local Y today.
Breast cancer kills more than 41,000 people each year in the U.S. alone. That's unacceptable. That's why by 2026, Susan G. Komen will cut the number of breast cancer deaths in half. We'll get there by helping those who can't pay for treatments, by funding breakthroughs in research that save lives, by ensuring that all people receive the care they need. We'll get there, but only with your help. So, are you in?
My mother used to say a long time ago, whenever there would be any catastrophe that was on the air, she would say, always look for the helpers. Because if you look for the helpers, you'll know that there's hope.
Welcome back to Middle Tennessee News. Now let's review for the weather quiz of today's weather. So it's been clear for most of the day. However, around 6 p.m. the rain showers will come in. The high was 73 degrees and it's going to get all the way down to 52 degrees tonight with a humidity of 40% and winds going at 11 miles per hour. Now that we've covered that, let's look at the 5-day forecast. As for today, the rain will be in tonight and then going through until tomorrow, where it'll be raining through the morning, though it should clear off in the afternoon. It will have a high of 71 degrees and a low of 52 degrees. Saturday will get us a bit of reprieve from the rain, as it will be partly cloudy skies with a high of 78 and a low of 62. The weather is getting really warm now. Spring is definitely here, especially on Sunday with a high of 81 and a low of 62. However, Monday will bring the thunder and lightning along with more rain. That'll cool things off for a bit with a high of 74 degrees and a low of 56. Remember, during the times of, all this rain, you make sure to drive carefully. Don't go out if you don't have to. Put a lot of space between you and the car in front of you, just in case you have to make that sudden stop. And when you're commuting someplace, drive slow to get there safely so you can, actually get there. But anyway, that's all for weather today. Back to you, JR.
Thanks, Jonathan. I failed that on my driver exam the first time and had to take it the second time through. If I would have just listened to you, man, life would have been so much easier. All right, coming up next on MTN. A lot of stuff, sports ball, there's some cool stuff going on in the Middle Tennessee area, but both me and you will have to stay tuned to figure out what it is right after the break.
Turn off your lights for Earth Hour. For our forests, our rivers, our oceans, our wildlife, and for our climate. For our Earth. Earth Hour, March 30th, 2019.
Your zip code. Just one number different and you might have a whole other life. Different school, different job, different dreams, different problems. In America, the zip code you're born in can determine your future. The Y works to change that, with programs and services that help everyone thrive, no matter who you are or where you're from. For a better us, support your local Y today.
Breast cancer kills more than 41,000 people each year in the U.S. alone. That's unacceptable. That's why by 2026, Susan G. Komen will cut the number of breast cancer deaths in half. We'll get there by helping those who can't pay for treatments, by funding breakthroughs in research that save lives, by ensuring that all people receive the care they need. We'll get there, but only with your help. So, are you in?
My mother used to say a long time ago, whenever there would be any catastrophe that was on the air, she would say, always look for the helpers. Because if you look for the helpers, you'll know that there's hope.
Welcome back to MTN. You know, there's still one Tennessee college that is playing, one Tennessee basketball college that is still playing this time of year. I know it may seem weird, but it really is true. It's not in the NCAA tournament, but it's in another tournament in college basketball. And for that, I want to dribble between the legs and pass it over to Jonas Sage. Jonas.
Hey, thank you, JR. I hope I never get to see that again. But you're right, it all comes down to tonight for Lipscomb. The Bison have made it to the NIT final at the Madison Square Garden and play for the championship against Texas. If Lipscomb wants to cut down the nets in New York, they'll need another big game from guard Garrison Matthews. The senior dropped 34 points against Wichita State in the semifinals and 44 in the quarterfinals against two-seeded NC State. Matthews is averaging 21 points per game this season while shooting over 40% from three. Forward Rod Madbury is another player to look out for. He's averaging 15.8 points per game in the NIT. The game starts tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, and you can watch that nationally on ESPN. And over to baseball, the 1,000 Miles of Hate rivalry. It spreads to more than just football. The Blue Raiders are preparing for their matchup against Western Kentucky at home. Their last game against Murray State went well, winning that one 8-5. The team is hoping to translate their 16-hit effort this past Tuesday into their series against the Hilltoppers. Middle Tennessee has gotten off to a sluggish start, going 4-5 in conference play with a 10-18 overall record. For the Hilltoppers, they're coming off a tight game against the 5th-ranked nationally Vanderbilt Commodores, losing that game in extras 5-4. The series begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. at Reese Smith Jr. Field. And for softball, coming off their shutout win against UT Martin, the Lady Raiders are looking to stay among the top teams in Conference USA. MT is preparing for their series matchup against UAB. Summer Burgess will lead the way for the squad, leading the team with a .346 batting average and a conference-leading 133 at-bats, 17 more than the second most, and 46 hits. For power, they've got plenty in Lexi Cushing. She leads Conference USA with 11 home runs on the season, and with a slugging percentage of .643, 4th in the conference, she's got plenty of pop to her bat. They'll look to take advantage of a Blazer team that ranks 10th in Conference USA in ERA with a 5.16. That series begins this Saturday as a doubleheader. First game is at 2 p.m., the second is at 4. That's all for your sports in the Middle Tennessee area. I'm not going to dribble it back because I don't got the moves, but I will send it back over to JR.
All right, Jonas, thanks so much. Although I will say, you know, as we close this afternoon, I want to show you some more basketball moves. But first, let me just get this out of the way. Thank you so much for joining us for Middle Tennessee News. I'm J.R. Smith, and I will see you next time. Boom.